Hi everybody and welcome to this all 9 holes general walkthrough video for the Acacia 9-hole cup. As the tournament name suggests, we're playing a full 9 of the Acacia Reserve course. I'm going to put the overviews up for each hole with some suggested routes and elevations regardless of what division you are playing. Bear in mind these elevations are only suggestions and they always need to be tweaked according to what wind direction and strength you have, but even more so with this tournament because we have the 50% wind increase tournament modifier, so do bear that in mind. Please do hit thumbs up on the video if you're enjoying the content and make sure you are subbed to the channel as well. Here come those 9 holes overviews with my suggested routes. Please do check out on the channel as well. We will have a rookie playthrough and a pro and expert playthrough as well, so do check out that content. Good luck in the Acacia 9-hole cup. 2 options to choose from with the first hole. My preferred route is actually on the right hand side, however the left does offer a good chance as well. If you are playing on the right hand side, obviously you're going to need 2 to 3 bars of topspin. Don't go with any more than that, otherwise you will roll long into the rough. You will also need a bit of right spin. 10% extra there. Rookies, if we do have tailwind, we can use the quarterback here, which is always a bonus. But obviously if we do get any headwind, we may want to play either to the left or go with a longer driver. Pro and expert, obviously going to need a longer driver regardless, still wanting to bounce over. And from there, second shot also going to be 10% downhill. And depending what the wind is doing, you will either be able to play max distance of short iron or minimum distance with your long iron, but you will need some backspin here to get the ball to stop in time. Left hand side we have done with pro and expert and also master, to be honest, and if we do get horrendous amount of headwind, then this is the way to go. A much easier drive, put plenty of topspin, get right down to the left, kind of beyond where the arrow goes really, because it will give you a better line for the rough bump depending on what the wind is doing. Assuming the drive goes well on the left, that will leave you with a sniper rough bump. Playing there on that little patch of rough between the 2 sections of fairway. I've put 10% here, but of course you do need to alter depending what the wind is doing. But it is a decent chance there. You will need some topspin obviously on the drive for sure, but also between 3 and 4 bars topspin if you're playing the rough bump on hole number 1. Now a very challenging par 5 for the second hole. I think it's one of the most difficult ones that we have in this tournament, and accuracy and execution will be the absolute key to getting this hole safely through for an eagle. I don't think this is an albatross hole in the slightest here. It's all about playing fairways and greens, taking your eagle and moving on. Regardless of division and wind, we do want to get over to that triangle of fairway, which is the second one if you're counting up from the tees to the green. A bit tricky to see on the diagram, but it's where the tip of the first white arrow is. We will want to bounce over with topspin, and right spin may also need some right curl as well. Rookies, I would suggest power 3 ball definitely here for the second shot as well as the drive. It would be nice if we can play with the quarterback, of course, but if we do get any headwind, we're going to have to go with longer drivers. 10% extra is what I'm suggesting here. And then the second shot, you've got 2 options. Regardless of division, you will need a wood club with distance. So we are looking at Big Dog, or for the higher division players, we are going to need the Cataclysm. 20% downhill, and it's either going to be bouncing over the bunker with topspin, or if the wind doesn't allow that and your drive is not in the optimum position, then you can play along the right hand side as well. But bear in mind this is massively downhill and you will need to get the speed correct to get on the green or on the fringe. Master division, this is a very tough drive, and I think power 4 or power 5 ball will be needed here. Third hole now, the first of the par 3s, and we've got a couple of options here, and there's actually a third bounce point as well, which I haven't illustrated, but I will describe that to you. I do recommend really that we need something with side spin to the right if we are playing the bounce over. 10% general elevation, and probably going to be using our sniper here, definitely for pro and expert. That's the bounce over, of course. Very nice route down to the pin. Again, you've got to get the speed right here, but there is a very, very nice line on this green. Obviously, the pin does stand at the top right area of the green. The red cross shown here is a rough bump, which again is a very, very good chance. We can play obviously a quarterback rough bump there from a middle tee, and from master obviously we're going to play quarterback, rough bump or bounce over. Whichever one suits your playstyle and also the wind direction. 10% anyway is the general elevation for this one. Third bounce point really is just before the red cross. You can bounce over more of the rough and the sand there rather than the black cross, which is out to the left. All depends what kind of side spin ball you want to use and where you want to set up for a good line to the pin. But a very good chance really for a hole in one here on hole number 3. Fourth hole, and this one is going to be an important hole to get an eagle on really if you really want to compete in this tournament. The white line is the best route in my opinion. 0% or 10% on the drive depending what tee you are playing from and also what the wind is doing, but we want to find a nice bounce over point here, going with topspin and some side spin to the left to roll along the next piece of fairway. Important, as I said, to find a good point to bounce. If you catch the downward slope on that area around the blue cross, you will get a slightly flatter bounce which will lose you a bit of distance. So very important there to firstly aim at the right point, but also to adjust accurately. I do believe we can use yardage notes here. The second shot on the white arrows will play 0%. General elevation, we will be using the thorn. You've got an option here. You can go obviously bouncing beyond the rough with a few bars of backspin, playing the standard shot, but you may also see some people attempting rough bump as well. But either way, its yardage notes are possible here as the hole is linear, so we could well get dialed in here. Black line is not as frequently used, but is still a good option depending on the wind we have for the second shot. Bouncing over 10% on the drive, also with obviously topspin needed, and then hopefully you will be in range for a very nice short iron if you've gone far enough on your drive to the pin from the left hand side. So again, this one is going to be wind dependent, but will be an important hole to secure the eagle if we can. Fifth hole now, and some really interesting tee placements here. Just look at the different angles into the pin from the various tee positions that we have. I'm only showing you the rookie route here, but obviously you can kind of guess the rest yourself. 10% extra is general elevation. We've got two choices really here. The red cross obviously is going to be the bounce over. That is what I would recommend for true rookie players. Going to be with the long iron and not going to need any side spin at all because you've got a straight line to the pin. So just going to need either no spin or a little bit of backspin depending what the wind is doing there. So very, very good chance for rookie division players. Pro and expert obviously have more of an angle here, so we are going to need side spin balls, and I would recommend the rough bump in this case, which is the light blue cross that's mentioned there. Obviously in certain wind directions, especially right to left winds, we will be adjusting down into the bunker, so we're going to have to factor that one in, but like I say, we will need a side spin here. And Master Division got even more of an angle to deal with. So in the past we have done quarterback bounce over there, which has not been wonderfully consistent from what I remember, and we've also been doing a rocket backspin shot, obviously bouncing beyond the bunker as you look from the tee. But this is going to be very, very difficult playing from third tee, so definitely a good hole-in-one opportunity for rookie, pro and expert. But for Master Division players, this one is going to be a very, very challenging par 3. Before we carry on with the tournament walkthrough, just want to take a few seconds to tell you about a new series that we've now started on the channel. These are the BK Course Guides. They are aimed at people playing tour play, whether you're stepping up to a new tour or you're having to learn a new course due to the course rotation and reshuffle that is occurring within the game. Very similar to the tournament walkthroughs, going to have the overviews on the screen, but they are organised by the par number. So we start with the par 4s, then the par 5s, and then we finish with the shootouts. I give my thoughts and opinions on suggested general routes and elevations for all tees, so regardless of what tour the courses are in, it should still be relevant, but also some strategy tips depending on what your opponent is doing, and also my recommendations of how far you need to be or how close you need to be to the pin in order to win the shootouts the majority of the time. So please do check those out if you are playing some tour play. Now the left hand side for me here on hole number 6 is not an option at all, and that is because the second shot is so difficult from there because there's all of the sand and the rough in the way in terms of our approach. So for me it's right hand side, but even with that there are two possible drives. In fact there's a third which I haven't shown here, which we'll talk about as well. If we do get tailwind, rookies can go directly over there with a power 3 ball. You will need a little bit of backspin here. We do not want to go too far into the bunker or the rough, but this is also possible in pro and expert as well, providing we get a good amount of tailwind and direct tailwind here. Again, we'll need some overpower though, definitely from second tee. If we do not have the wind to go directly over, then we take the blue line here, which is a curl shot, and again here the APOC is going to be very, very useful because you will want to play with maximum curl or almost max curl, going with top spin and also right spin. Remember, if you are using curl and if the wind is going from left to right, leave a couple of extra rings so that you do not land directly into the bunker or the rough. Assuming all goes well with the drive, second shot 0% general elevation, and it will be okay with a sniper here, but obviously if we do have horrendous amount of headwind, then a 180 yard wood club would be preferable. The third option here, if you're a fan of the old slices, you can play a slice shot here as well. Will land approximately the same area once it's rolled out as the first two options, just before that fairway bunker. But obviously you are going to adjust out to the left, so if you fancy a slice, then this one may well be for you. Now the trickiest of the par 3s here, this is hole number 7, and we've got some range of elevation numbers displayed here. I've got Tommy's general elevation numbers here for the 3 tees, because obviously as we go further back from the green, these tees are increasingly uphill. Rookie division plus 20% is the general elevation here. Pro and expert plus 30. Although, to be honest, when we've had tailwind and doing the bounce over, we have had to play plus 40 just to account for the extra wind push. And Master Division players there, plus 50 from the third tee is the suggested general elevation. Regardless of tee box, there's two options here, bounce over or rough bump. Now, the bounce over is obviously the safer option, but does not give you the best chance at a hole-in-one. And by all means, the rough bump it has a slightly better chance, but is still a very, very difficult shot. Bouncing over would be my preference for rookies, and don't really need any side spin here, so a navigator is good, and using the Goliath is pretty good for a rookie. Pro and expert, obviously, sniper is going to be the way forward with the bounce over, and Master Division going to be the quarterback. If you do want the rough bump, bear in mind the adjustment is tricky. You need to be precise, you need to hit perfect because that piece of rough is very, very narrow. In some cases we have played the rough bump here at up to 70% elevation, and if you're going with that, I would recommend going with a wind 5 ball here. So the choice is yours. The rough bump is risky, but it is the best way forward if you're aiming for the hole-in-one. 2 words for this hole: must eagle. In all wind directions, we are needing to get an eagle on this hole, regardless of the division that you are playing in. It will be an important drop to get. If we do get any tailwind, then we're going to go directly onto that second piece of fairway that connects up to the green. We will want to be playing with topspin. We may also be needing to play with some overpower. So, Berserkers, very, very good here, even if you're playing rookie. Obviously, if you're going pro and expert, you will need full overpower, even in some tailwind here to reach, due to the further distance from the tee. Master Division, obviously, we're going to need to bounce over from the left, so it would be the black line there, playing, of course, with the APOC for the curl and the topspin and the accuracy. 10% extra on the drive, and obviously, if we do get headwind at all, then rookie, pro, and expert will need to do the black line as well, bouncing over there. But regardless of the wind, like I say, we've got to eagle this one. So if we can't play directly over there and get into wedge or putt range, then it will be a short iron, but it is very, very, very makeable. 10% suggested elevation on this par 4, but we are going to need to get an eagle. Now the preference here for the final hole of the 9 would be for me to go on the left hand side. If we're playing from rookie division, I would get a power 3 ball, and you can bounce directly over there where the light blue cross is. Obviously then you're going to need to apply topspin and get yourself right down that fairway as best you can. The other divisions, Pro and Expert obviously, and definitely Master, you've got to bounce before the rough with topspin. 10% extra there, but that is the best line because it does leave you a 0% rough bump with the Sniper, and that is playing above the top right of the bunker and bouncing in the rough and rolling out on the green. We have also, though, depending on the wind direction, done a -5 or a -10 there, so that is one that we are going to have to tweak a little because sometimes you will adjust down into the sand depending on the wind direction that you have. If the left hand side isn't possible, then you can go right hand side as well, obviously playing 10% there, but also if you do have headwind you may well need a wood club with distance as well as some topspin, because you're going to have to bounce where the red cross is near the green and bounce up over the rough and onto the green, so it could be challenging here on hole number 9. Thanks very much everybody for watching the general walkthrough. I do hope you found it useful, and if so, please do share with your clanmates and friends in the game as well. It would be very, very much appreciated. Let me know in the comment section down below what you think of these holes, and if there's any routes that you found that maybe I've not mentioned here, would be very, very useful for everybody as well. Thank you so much for watching. Good luck in the tournament, and I'll see you soon. Bye for now.